We're trying to alleviate barriers that individuals have to gain access to mobility. And we choose to partner a lot with nonprofit organizations. There are so many wonderful nonprofits in Indianapolis. We don't need to be duplicating the same things that they're doing. And so we partner with them by providing a grant every year to give them access to transit benefits, so bus passes, things like that, for the people that they serve.
Welcome to Six Pillars in Action, a podcast that takes you inside the work, the people, and the purpose behind one of the most meaningful investments in African American communities right here in Indianapolis. In each episode, we sit down with leaders, partners, and change makers connected to the Indianapolis African American Quality of Life Initiative to talk about what's happening, why it matters, and how real transformation is taking shape across our city. Whether you're a community member, an organization doing the work, or someone who simply wants to understand how change happens, this conversation is for you.
Welcome back to another episode of the Six Pillars in Action podcast. I am your host, Samantha Douglas, and on this podcast, we take an in-depth look at the incredible work of the IAAQLI, or the Indianapolis African American Quality of Life Initiative. Whew. We are here today with another grantee, of course, from the Indigo Foundation this time, though. So just introduce yourself and tell us about your role at the Indigo Foundation.
Hi, so I'm Rachel Moss. I'm the Director of Programs and Operations at the Indy Foundation. I've been there for almost 5 years. We've not been around for very long. And I have done a lot of work in the creation of our nonprofit programming, as well as kind of developing all on the operations side and things like that.
Okay, I was gonna ask you because I was gonna say people are gonna be at Indigo Foundation. So can you tell us about it? Because I know we're all familiar with Indigo, but can you tell us the difference?
Yeah. So the Indigo Foundation was created when Marion County put together the referendum to be able to add the BRT lines that Indigo is creating. So the red, purple, and soon to be blue line.
Yes.
So we were created around the same time, and we're the only local transit foundation in the country that has dedicated staff.
Oh, wow.
So we're kind of figuring stuff out as we go. But some of the work that we do is to try and identify barriers individuals have to transportation freedom and mobility, and gaining access to their lives. And so we're the philanthropic side of Indigo. We don't operate the buses. We don't run the system, but we obviously work very closely with Indigo and all of the things that we do.
Yeah, it makes, and you guys said this is new, because it makes all the sense in the world for you all to have, a foundation side.
It is. We didn't know that we were the only transit foundation when it was started. And you see things like the public library has a foundation.
Yeah.
Public schools have foundations, but transit just hasn't seen that level of philanthropic investment or interest, really. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's actually really cool, especially because it's such a public service. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Wow. That's cool. So tell us about your work at the foundation. I mean, I feel like we all assume it's funding, but tell us about what you all do. Yeah.
So we operate a number of different programs, and like I said before, we're trying to alleviate barriers that individuals have to gain access to mobility. And we choose to partner a lot with nonprofit organizations. There are so many wonderful nonprofits in Indianapolis. We don't need to be duplicating the same things that they're doing, and so we partner with them by providing a grant every year to give them access to transit benefits, so bus passes, things like that, for the people that they serve. And that has always been one of the biggest needs that we've seen nonprofits in Indianapolis share back with us, is getting more bus passes, getting more access. We also offer a discount program for them to be able to purchase them on their own. Another big funding opportunity that we do and we help is helping to fund those ADA accessible bus stops. I know last fall, maybe you saw Indigo had constructed 92 new ADA accessible bus stops in Indianapolis, and there's in the process of finding funding and constructing, I think 50 plus more on the far east side.
Yeah.
And so really investing in that opportunity that having an ADA accessible bus stop allows an individual. And then this other one is kind of a new thing that we're discovering, and there's a lot of, I'm going to say, social barriers around transit. where if you've never ridden the bus,
Yeah.
it can feel a little bit scary, intimidating. You don't know what the bus culture is per se. And so helping people to alleviate that, what we found is oftentimes decisions are being made by people who want car dependency. And so if we can kind of change that narrative around the importance of that shared system of public transit, something we all have to operate within if that shared system is going to be successful.
I love that because so obviously out here, because we have the purple line and we're getting the blue line as well, that was actually a sticking point for me. So I actually serve as the president of the Far East Side Community Council, but in this role, a lot of times they invite you to be one of the ones that are like speaking up for community stuff. But like you just said, I drive a car though everywhere, and so it was a big deal for me to tell them like, no, I need you to talk to the people who ride the bus, and we were pushing as many people as we could to the listening sessions and stuff like that. But that really is a barrier because we are usually the ones that have access to these meetings. Probably because of transportation and other things, And so it ends up being like this loop. And then also even for the bus passes, I think that's such a, people just don't realize how big of a need there is for that. Like I can say in this position, like I actually get requests probably multiple times a year where people just reach out and just ask like, hey, you guys got bus passes? And I don't think people really understand like how big of a barrier transportation can be and how impactful it can be to people.
We see that transportation is often bundled with other basic needs. So if somebody has a need for stable housing, and so they might get transportation access because of the housing, or they might get transportation access because of the food. But transportation is a basic need.
Yes, it
is.
is.
And that's not something that we have seen yet be funded in the philanthropic community that way.
Yeah.
Nobody's, 3 pillars of whatever that they're funding is transportation.
Right.
And so that's something that we're working to, and we're seeing progress towards that. And I think it will be a huge catalyst in alleviating a lot of burden that individuals have and nonprofits specifically have in helping their clients get to services that they need.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell us about, so obviously you guys got funding from the IAQLI grant. So tell us about what you got the funding for and what you guys were able to do with that.
So the funding we got for IAQLI is this other part of what we do that I didn't get to talk about yet, but I'll share. We are trying to, think of the right words to say this. We're trying to break down some of those foundational barriers that aren't necessarily ongoing, but having funding for those really makes a difference. And so the funding that we got for IAQLI was to help create pathways for individuals to get employment with Indigo for bus operation, being a bus driver, or mechanics. Those were 2 things that all over the country, transit agencies saw a lack of qualified bus operators and mechanics. And so Indigo was looking at almost 150 bus operator shortage to be able to launch the Purple Line.
Wow.
And so as well, there was also a mechanic shortage as well. And both of those things are crucial for the bus system to work.
Yeah.
And so this funding allowed Indigo to hire staff to be able to put together partnerships with community-based organizations who were targeting the populations that we were trying to seek here. Like same thing with how we operate partnerships with our nonprofits for like the grant and the bus pass access. We wanted those partnerships with organizations who were already doing the work, already knew the people who were going to be able to say this would be a great opportunity and a great job for you. And so the funding went to help create that system at Indigo to be able to maintain that driver and mechanic level so that we can continue to see the Marion County Transit Plan come to fruition.
And so were you guys able to improve your numbers in
Yes,
that way? Like,
definitely.
Do you have the numbers?
Yes,
Okay.
so
Okay,
I
good.
know, right now I don't know what the number is.
Okay.
But Indigo was successfully able to launch the Purple Line. And I know maybe it was a week and a half ago, they every 4 months, Indigo tweaks their service or changes it, updates it, things like that. And this month in June, we saw a big increase in access where multiple routes saw increase. So they might have been a 30-minute route and they're a 15-minute route, meaning the bus comes every 15 minutes instead of every 30 or 60, and it comes every 30 minutes now. And so that's something that we're seeing is that increase in service for the riders and for the community. And the continued need for that as Blue Line is under construction.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so were you guys only awarded just one?
Yes.
For 2 years?
Yep.
Okay. And it was a 2-year?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So through this, when you said they were able to build this system, what did that look like? Like, staff?
So it was hiring of an individual, a staff person at Indigo, who's dedicated to going out into the community. I talk about it like it was a proactive approach to hiring versus reactive. Instead of people coming to you saying, hey, I want a job, you're going out in the community and finding individuals who would be a good fit for the position.
Yeah.
And so I think it was 20 plus organizations that were initially partnered with to be able to create those pathways.
Oh, wow. And through this process with IAQLI, were they instrumental in helping create those partnerships as well?
Absolutely. That funding to be able to hire that position and have it be a proactive approach, community-based, that was not something that was in Indigo's plan. And so this funding was crucial for that to happen. And success-wise, this is something that Indigo saw such a success with, that they have taken on this as not just a grant-funded position anymore. They're funding it themselves.
Oh,
so it has been a very big success in that regard. Yep.
Oh, wow, because I was going to ask about sustainability. I was going to say,
it was so effective that this is definitely something that they are going to continue to work within.
Now you guys are moving into the Blue Line, and so you're going to have to grow again.
Exactly, yes. And every time the bus route goes from 30 to 15 minutes, that's twice as many drivers that need to operate that and make that possible.
Yeah.
So, and then more buses you have, the more mechanics you need.
I was going to say, I had not even thought of the mechanic piece of things. Like, so that's something you guys staff. That's not something that you outsource.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So with these partnerships, people were going through programs, so it was supporting them getting the training.
Yes.
Okay.
And in addition to some of the stuff that has evolved since then, there's been an increase in apprenticeships, which is really helping to broaden the. I'm going to say the people who are able to then take on the job.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So is there somewhere people can learn more about the foundation or what you all do?
Absolutely.
You said you were new. Maybe I missed it. How long has it been since you guys had the foundation?
So the referendum happened in 2016. The foundation was created in 2018, but we didn't actually start, I'm going to say, fundraising until the January of 2020.
Okay.
That was a fun time.
Okay.
To start. I came on at the organization in 2021.
Okay.
But yeah, so we've only been around for 6 or 7 years in active work.
Okay, cool. So is there a way for people to learn more about the organization, what you all do?
We just launched our new website. It's indigofoundation.org, so take a look there. You can find what we're doing. Our new impact report for 2025 is out, and it's on the website. And then we have 3 videos on our YouTube page, but this past February, we hosted Transit Equity Day on February 4th, which is Rosa Parks' birthday.
Yeah.
And we had a panel discussion and a lot of conversation around some of the things we've talked about as far as the broad need for transportation access and funding for that and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. So I was going to ask, do you guys have events or something? So
we have a golf outing, which is one of our events, and then our Transit Equity Day event, which is always on February 4th. But we're finalizing our venue for that here in the next little bit. So keep an ear out if you're interested. That's something that the public is invited to.
Yeah.
We generally celebrate our nonprofit partners at that time. If we've had a new grant round, they are our grantee celebration as well. So
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for coming today and sharing with us.
And thank you all for the funding and for the work.
Yeah.
Like, this has definitely been instrumental.
I'll take the credit.
Yes,
I'll take the credit. I'm just playing. Yes. Thank you so much for coming to share. And thank you all for watching. We will be right back with another segment of the 6 Pillars in Action podcast.
Coming up next on the 6 Pillars in Action podcast, we'll continue our conversation with IAAQLI leaders. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and visit the IAAQLI website to learn more about the incredible work being done and how you can get involved.
Welcome back to the 6 Pillars in Action podcast. I am your host, Samantha Douglas, and we are here at P30, y'all. So I know in the last segment we had a little noise. In this segment, we may have a little noise. Bear with us. We're in a co-working space. It's people working their dream, y'all. But here we are super happy to be back with Daryl Morton, Jr. Do you always include the junior?
Always.
Okay, Daryl Morton Jr. from Drone Force, Indiana.
Correct.
So obviously you're here because you're a grantee of the IAQLI podcast. But before we get into that, I want to know about you, how you got to this work, and then about Drone Force.
Well, it's kind of a wild story how I got to even get involved in drones, because my background is not that. It's actually television and IT. That's really where I come from. But during COVID, I didn't have anything to do, and I had actually gotten a toy drone. It was a toy. I actually saw it in Washington, actually not Washington Square, but Greenwood Park Mall. And during COVID, I had nothing to do, so I finally opened it, and I'm flying it around the house, and then decided to look and see where the drone industry was going, and it blew me away. And I discovered there was a certification, an FAA certification. It's called the Part 107 knowledge test to get you to become a certified remote pilot. I looked at the material and discovered that I hadn't seen some of this stuff since high school, and it was a lot of work. And so I studied and became a remote pilot. Shortly after that, I started working in aviation. For a regional airline, and my role there was to create pathways for young people to get into the industry,
cool.
Be it pilots, mechanics, or what have you. And what I discovered is that our kids really didn't know much about aviation at all. And when you go out and try to reach kids in high school, well, that's really too late to really reach anyone to get to get on a career pathway. And so I started an organization called Drone Force Indiana, which was to use drones to interest kids in aviation, because 80% of what's on the drone test is on the private pilot written exam.
Oh, wow.
And so I decided to use that similar language to get kids interested. And so that's how I got started. Initially, it was in Pike Township. Actually, 4 years ago in Pike Township, I walked in the door for one of their summer camps or summer enrichment camps. And said, this is what I want to do with drones. And they said, okay. And so I was just teaching STEM. And the kids really understood what I was trying to do. I was trying to figure out what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, 4 years later, it's going strong. And we've gotten so many kids that are interested in drones, because ultimately we have to feed the network or the pathway getting into high school. What a lot of people don't realize is at the high school level, there is a drone pathway. There's culinary arts, there's the barbering, cosmetology, but there's been a drone pathway that's sat there for years, but a lot of times there's no teacher for that. And so talking to some of our schools, I had a conversation with Warren Central's leadership, and we got to figure out a way to get kids interested in it. And so that's why we start young, elementary and middle school. So really that's how I started Drone Force Indiana, and that was the reason why, because ultimately we want to develop more drone pilots and interest kids into drones and aviation.
Oh, first of all, that's so cool. And like the alignment with like working for an airline and getting into the drones, like, and making that connection, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I left the airline because I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
I know what my passion had become. And so it made sense for me to really just get out here on my own and get it done, because I wasn't tied to an office or a boss saying that, okay, let's steer it away from this area or this community. This is where my passion is. I understand, what the mission is for me. And my personal, goal is to reach 500,000 youth over the next 5 years to introduce them to aviation and drones. And I also do it via my writing. I'm an author. I've written several books. My last book, Urban Wings, No Limits, Just Skies, is about a group of teenagers who are seniors in high school. Their high school can't afford aviation, so the kids fly drones for their high school.
Oh, cool.
And so I just want to, I might find a kid that doesn't want to do anything with drones or doesn't know anything about drones, but they will read the book and then they will learn.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to push everything down one funnel
Yeah.
to really introduce kids to pathways that they may never know exist.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So now let's talk about the funding. Let's talk about the IAAQLI funding. When you saw this opportunity come up, what alignment did you see with the work you were doing in this opportunity?
I really immediately thought about streets to the skies. And what I want to do is create drone pilots, again, introducing, young people between the ages of 16 and 24 to a possible career pathway. Now, what that means is they're going through the same training and studying I had to do to learn about, airspace, weather, regulations, which, again, is not easy, but if we can get youth introduced at a younger age, then we have the possibility of putting them on a career pathway that could be aviation, could be more stuff with drones, but also the urban air mobility, the air taxis, that's what we call them, companies like Archer Aviation or Joby Aviation that are actually investing in that technology.
Yeah.
We can actually have our kids prepared for a workforce.
Yeah.
And we won't be left behind. We're doing it up front. So really, I saw that as an opportunity to come in and work with, our community and really get kids interested and also trained.
So when you got this funding, so did you just get it once?
I got it
for the
once.
2 years? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then with that, did you saw it as an opportunity to expand what you were already doing? Like, did you add something new or just expand your reach?
Well, kind of both.
Both. Okay. I love that.
I saw it as an opportunity to do the training side of the Part 107 training. I was doing it a little bit, but not on this scale.
Okay.
I'm able to have 4 cohorts.
Oh, wow.
In total, we want to, train over 100. And so that's our number. But prior to that, it was very much on a smaller scale when folks would call me and say, hey, look, what do I do to get my Part 107? How do I get trained? And I would try to figure out a way to get them the information that they need. But this really helps out with us because we're able to reach more people and really get some alignment because, again, once you see other people doing it, because really, flying a drone, there's not a lot of us doing it. Let's just be real.
Yep.
Okay? So, but once you start to see people doing it and understand that it leads to other things, because a drone is one thing. Getting your drone certification is one thing. It's similar to getting your driver's license. But if you want to go drive big trucks, you need the next, you need the CDL.
Yep.
Well, if you want to go into drone, let's say power washing, there are drones that power wash buildings. And so there are things that you stack on or mapping. Or things like that. There are things you have to do. No one's going to come and find you because you have a drone certification. You have to be relevant.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to make sure that our students are relevant. They get the certification. Let's talk about what's next. And so what I see, and when I go back to high school, I want kids trained personally by the time that they're 16 years old. And so that way in high school, we can work with the school district and talk about the workforce development side. And so you have drone pilots walking around your building. Let's figure out how we can use district resources to get them some work hours. And what I mean by that is during football games or the end of day, the kids can fly the drones for crowd control. Or watching, we've all gone to those schools and kids are driving up. I didn't have a car in high school, but kids driving out the property fast and the police officers, well, that's crowd control. We can send the drones up.
Yeah.
And the kids can work with the police officers because I do have some districts to talk about getting their officers trained. So now we have a relationship.
I was just about to ask about that because they have drones.
Absolutely. And so now we have a relationship between the police and that cohort of kids that are flying drones.
Yep.
So the temperature goes down when we talk about, police and community relations, it goes down.
Yeah.
But also in summer, the districts inspect their buildings. Well, why not let the students fly the drones, inspect the buildings, even wash them? And so now they're getting real work hours that they can apply to a resume. So when they graduate, they have real hours that they've attained.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so, and for some of those kids, they might want to say, you know what, I want to go into aviation. And so really what we can do is really figure out a way to get them to take aviation, the private pilot written exam in high school.
Yeah.
And so really aviation, I see, is a way to really get a lot more students engaged into career pathways that could be life-changing in terms of the money that they could make.
That's so interesting. The whole time you were talking about this being a pathway to, a broader aviation career. I was thinking about like CNAs too. Like it's a very low barrier type, thing that could put somebody on the track to become a nurse or RN or have their own practice. I have a friend's RN. She done turned that into a CNA school, into a home health aide. It's a whole thing. So I love that for our kids that they this is building. It's with a level of intentionality that it creates more than just one opportunity. It kind of opens a door.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does. And there are so many different things that you can do. Drones are in so many different industries. I mean, package delivery is here.
Yeah.
Again, we have to make sure that our kids are, they have that, thinking about those pathways. And so that's really what I want to do is open up the doors to information that parents not only know, but the kids know as well. And that's I've discovered one of the barriers of parents.
Yeah.
It's because they don't understand it, and that's not something you should do. You shouldn't fly that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And so really killing a dream before it even starts. And so that's one of the reasons why the other side of Drone Force Indiana, where we do start as young as elementary, we work with the indoor drones, and they're flying, we call them flight missions, and they're learning all the language and technology. And we invite parents out to see their kids experience some of our simulations. And so then the parents are on board. Say, now I get it. We can explain to them. So it's one of those things that we have to explain as we go forward.
Yeah.
But it's necessary, and it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's surprising, though, that parents would have pushback. That's interesting.
Very much pushback.
Yeah.
Even like I said, and a part of us, too, we want to push kids in aviation.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a parent in a barbershop. I had seen her son in there a few times and had great conversations with him about drones and becoming a pilot. And this one evening, the mom was in there, and he was explaining to her, and the mom says, he's not flying a plane. I just can't have him go up in the air.
Oh.
I'm like, wow.
She's thinking about her baby. Yeah, I do. Now I get that because I think about that with the military service and things like that. I was like, oh no.
Well, I have a different opinion when it comes to military, especially since I'm Army.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
did 3 years out of high school, and I think it really made a difference. It made a difference for me, and I think that a lot of times we have to let our kids experience things.
I know.
Yeah, we have
I know. But I'm just saying, I understand as a mom, that the reluctance to, I don't know about my baby being in the air. I want him on the ground.
Yeah.
But so tell us about the future. So what are you guys doing next?
Well, it's what we continue to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, right now, we are running 4 different camps over this last week and this week, where it's really interesting kids into what we're doing, just to create the interest. But also, we want to be able to do things in the schools, not just camps. We want to be a part of the curriculum, the day.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're working on, because ultimately, if we're going to build kids to be able to go into these pathways, we have to. Summer camps are not just going to do it. And
Yeah.
so we're working with school districts to see how we can get in and provide curriculum to be a part of the day-to-day
That's
learning.
wonderful.
Yes.
So how can people get in contact with y'all? How can people learn more? How can kids sign up? Where can they go?
Not a problem. Oh, and I never did tell you, you call me Daryl Morton Jr. Yeah, I do go by that, but I also go by DMJ.
Okay, DMJ.
So DMJ, the drone doctor, by the way.
Oh, okay, DMJ the drone doctor.
Yeah, that's a doctor with an A on the end, by the way.
Okay, doctor.
So droneforceindiana.com is where we are. I'm DMJ at droneforceindiana.com. That's how you can reach out to me.
Okay.
I talk to schools, I talk to parents. I've given so much advice as to what we're doing, not just here in Indiana. I've been invited over to Columbus, Ohio, Richmond, Virginia, just to see what we're doing. And a lot of school districts across the Midwest and on the East Coast love what we're doing and are looking at ways to duplicate what we're doing. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word got lucky. I just discovered my passion.
Yeah.
And they say if you discover your passion, you'll never work again.
Yeah.
I'm not working right now. I'm having a lot of fun.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming today and sharing. Y'all, please make sure you go and check out. I guess we're going to have to stop being scared and let our babies go learn about drones.
Let them fly. Let them fly.
But thank you so much. Thank you all so much for watching another episode of the 6 Pillars in Action podcast. Of course, you can find us on any of the social media platforms and on YouTube at IAAQLI. And until next time, see ya.
Thanks for watching the 6 Pillars in Action podcast. The stories and insights you hear on this podcast are just one part of a much bigger movement focused on improving the quality of life for African Americans throughout Indianapolis. To learn more about the work, the impact, and the organizations helping to drive change, be sure to visit the Indianapolis African American Quality of Life Initiative website. Follow IAAQLI on social media and sign up for the newsletter to stay up to date on the latest news and opportunities. Transformation is happening, and staying connected is one of the best ways to be part of it. We'll see you next time on 6 Pillars in Action.